Guess what, everybody? It's finally time to talk about Halo. There have been some big plans revealed for Halo Infinite. Not for the future, but we now know what Halo Infinite was gonna be. But not only that, a very significant figure in the Halo community just confirmed another thing about Halo, but there is something that has me very hopeful about this. A team that isn't Halo Studios, but is kind of connected to them, that has a lot of hope, in my opinion, to really change things up. And tip of the hat to you, let's go with Frank today. If we haven't met, Samurai Kibuji here. I freaking love to speculate with you about video games and encourage you to be geek, be proud, be awesome. But here I'm a gamer, and we're going to talk about my probably favorite game franchise ever, which is Halo. Rebs Gaming, who is a very well-known and very great reporter of Halo information with a bunch of insiders that he has scooped up some slides for the plans of Halo Infinite. 2019 was gonna be the launch day for the Halo Infinite multiplayer as just kind of the foundation of, hey, this is gonna be the most accessible Halo we've ever done. And it was supposed to launch with apparently a battle royale, which we've been hearing a lot of. But the thing that is surprising to me is Warzone. If you remember Halo 5, it had this mode Warzone that, was like the PvE mode. And this concept art, you kind of get to see that. You see what looks like Chief alongside some other Spartans charging against enemies, including content kind of monster, kind of like Reach that you fight. I love the idea of Warzone coming back. And I'm going to come back to just a bit of what Halo Infinite could have been. I just want to breeze through and give you the details here. Like 2020, a year later, was the intention to launch the campaign. A campaign that is... well, they had the idea of it being an open world, kind of like Halo Infinite is, just on a much grander scale. It was supposed to be evergreen, replayable, and have yearly updates. And speaking of yearly updates, 2021, they were going to release their first big campaign DLC, which was titled Atriox's Reign. And this DLC, you were supposed to stop Atriox from taking control of the ring and going through all of his warlords, which was a new system that they were going to introduce to the game and just Halo in general. But this was also going to be a time that they launched Firefight, so that kind of lines up with what Halo Infinite did. Now, clearly, all of this didn't happen. It was thanks to basically two things, being management and the Slipspace engine, which we're going to come back to both of those in just a second. Because there's a significant other detail that I don't see too many people talking about that I think is personally the bigger story here. But this just sounds amazing. I personally think, and I've done a video about this, that Halo Infinite today is kind of a dream for Halo fans. It just has so much content that could just basically keep growing and growing and growing and live up to the Infinite name. And clearly this plan, it's like this is just the beginning of what was their 10-year plan. They wanted to create a Halo game that both the campaign and the multiplayer just kept expanding. We're going to add, as they said, like yearly updates to the campaign. We want to tell an entire other story through it. That's just going to all center around Zeta Halo, I'm assuming, and deal with Atriox, maybe something after Atriox, and just this whole saga that was going to be told in this game with so much more, a bigger environment, more biomes, different creatures we fight, and the multiplayer having a battle royale in Warzone. I want it. It's just really, to me, I don't want to be sad about thinking about what Halo Infinite could have been. I kind of just like to just think about it, What could have been, but why did it not happen? There was a shocking piece of new information that I saw that to me is the much bigger deal, which is Joseph Staten confirming the staff size.
How many folks were on that team?
Joseph Staten, a lot of Halo nuts know this man, and he's very well known in the community, and he was the person that hopped on to help lead the finish of Halo Infinite and just really try to get 343 Industries all together to finish this game. And who knows, maybe it was him that was like, look, you guys just got to cut all of this. Because in an interview with the show or the channel, I'm not sure, The Fourth Curtain, Joseph Staten said that there was a total 800 to 900 developers working on Halo Infinite.
800 or 900 people,
What?
But that did not include all the external help and contractors.
All people that were just 343. This was not like external partners or anything like that. He was just talking about the people at 343 Industries. That's insane, but that's not really the problem. The problem is that the creative organization alone, like the people that were really making the creative decisions, was over 200 people. This is the thing about the management issue. Those two major issues was the Slipspace engine and management. And even Joe kind of states it in the interview, like, I hopped on and there was closer to 1,000 than 500 people at 343 Industries that I had to help get in line, and these over 200 creative heads to, get to basically agree on things. There was way too many chefs in the kitchen. And hearing that, like, that's insane. Because there's an ideal approach that I'm about to bring up, but in the 12 years that 343 Industries was a thing, there was apparently like 20 to 30 just failed pitches of projects for Halo. And instead, like the past 5 years or so, whatever, before Infinite launched, it was just like an all hands on deck situation. Everybody had to work on Infinite. They developed multiple versions of the game. Just too many chefs in the kitchen. But as much as it sucked at the time when we learned that there was like 60 to 130 people laid off at 343, it might have kind of just been for the better. Because here's where that other team I mentioned at the beginning comes in. Because now Halo Studios is, according to LinkedIn, around like 200 to 500 people. That's quite the range, but I believe it. And plus, they posted this ad about like they are hiring, so come and join our team. And that was the point of switching to Unreal Engine 5 for all Halo projects going forward. It's going to help them hire more people and to like just onboard them much faster than working with their Slipspace engine, But the main thing that I really think we need to grasp on for a second is what the new studio head said. Multiple projects in development. And you might be one of those people that says, like, isn't that bad? Isn't that bad if they have multiple people doing multiple projects and they're spread too thin? It was a good thing that they had so many people or have so many people on one game. They just all have to get on the same page. There is a team within Xbox Game Studios itself that I really think can set an example for not only Halo Studios, but also the rest of the teams under Xbox. And that's Obsidian Entertainment. If all goes well and Outer Worlds 2 comes out this year, Obsidian will have released 4 games and a DLC in 5 years. That's freaking insane. There's even teams at Xbox Game Studios that have taken like more than 5 years to put out a single game, period. You look at State of Decay 3 and Perfect Dark, and meanwhile, Obsidian is just like, no, we're turning them out. Now, granted, you might be saying something like, yeah, but those are smaller budget games. Does that matter too much? Yeah, we look at stuff like Avowed. Apparently in 2021, the creative director for Avowed mentioned like we were just 80 people at the time, and maybe now they're like 100. But, the total staff at Obsidian now is 285, which is less than a lot of other studios out there that over 300 that only release one game every freaking 5 or 7 years. But meanwhile, Obsidian, they create all these smaller teams of like 13 people to work on Pentiment, another dozen senior developers to work on Grounded, and both of them being either a critical or player count success. 4 games and a DLC in 5 years. And meanwhile, in terms of Halo, we have only gotten Halo Infinite since 2015. Halo 5. Like, Halo 5 was in 2015. The only Halo game we've gotten since then. Well, I guess there's Halo Wars 2. Sorry. Okay, aside from Halo Wars 2, Halo Infinite's all we've gotten, at least in the past 5 years. We could say that. What do you think about that? Like, do you think the 800 or 900 developers working on a single game is absolutely, like, very feasible and it will work out guaranteed? Is that the better approach? Or is it better to have the, let's say, 400 something people at Halo Studios creating the multiple projects? Maybe you have Team A working on mainline campaigns. You have Team B working on your next like big multiplayer platform or making Infinite upgraded to Unreal. I don't know. Team C working on spin-offs like an ODST Helldiver style thing that's just PvE focused. And maybe Team D is just your support team supporting all all these teams working on stuff. Would you rather that or the entire team working on one game and potentially having the creative clashes? I think Halo is one of those franchises that is like in the most complex place ever right now. And even Xbox kind of knows that. And that's why they really struggle to put it on one of their main stages of a showcase every year. So I get the complex emotions, but I personally have a lot of hope for this approach. Like now that Joseph has stated there was like over 800 people working on just one game, and now the studio has scaled down and they're saying we have multiple projects in development, that bodes a lot better to me, because smaller teams doesn't mean a worse game. It means a team that could potentially be much more in line with what the vision is. And that means you are creating the game that you want to create. And that we, the fans, just get more Halo. And that's the mission of Halo Studios, hopefully. And like my mission to you is I want to encourage you. Be geek, be proud, be awesome. I want to preach that to you more as just whatever you're really passionate about, own that. I'm Samurai Kibuji. If you've never been here before, I'd like to geek out with you about speculation about video games and reactions on them. So if you enjoyed this and want more content, then check out another video or subscribe.